The World Health Organization has taken a U-turn after urging countries, especially China, to shut down the live animal markets last month. The body has now failed to push for a complete ban of these wet markets. It says these animal markets are a source of livelihood for millions of people. But the point to be noted here is that these markets also serve as breeding grounds for diseases. In a briefing a few days ago, the WHO expert on food safety and viruses, Peter Ben Embarek, took a diplomatic stand on the issue of wet markets. He admitted that Wuhan's wet markets could have played a role in the spread of the virus. This admission came for the first time since the COVID-19 outbreak. This is contrary to China's standpoint. China dismisses the role of these markets completely. In fact, in recent weeks, the origin of the virus has become a sensitive issue and a matter of a heated debate. The US and China have been engaging in a war of words on this issue. So the WHO expert refrained from placing too much blame on these wet markets. Instead, he said, such live animal stalls could offer, and I'm quoting now, an amplified setting for a dangerous virus like the coronavirus, and that more research is required to understand the link between the virus and the wet markets. But the key takeaway from his briefing is WHO's hesitance to declare a ban on such markets. And here's the reasoning that was given. Wet markets are critical to providing food, and they are a source of livelihood for millions of people globally. So the authorities should focus on improving them rather than outlawing them. This is contrary to the strong advice that was sent to China the moment the wet markets began to reopen in Wuhan sometime in mid-April. WHO Special Envoy on COVID-19, David Navarro, was quite vocal in his criticism. He said while the WHO is unable to tell the government what to do, the advice should be to close the markets. Navarro also said that 75% of emerging infections come from the animal kingdom. Let's explore why these wet markets are problematic. These animal markets are poorly regulated and maintained. Animals could continue to create infections. The risk of unknown infections will remain as workers in these markets come in close contact with animals. And it is hard to introduce effective sanitary measures across all wildlife markets in the world, from markets in East Asia to South America. Over the last 20 years, we have seen 4 virus outbreaks, all traced to animals. 3 out of these 4 could be related to consumption of animal meat. In 2020, COVID-19. In 2012, the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, or MERS. In 2002, the Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome, or SARS. Hence, the demand to shut wet markets. Australia has urged the group of the 20 largest economies, or G20, to take some action on wildlife markets. More than 200 conservation groups across the world have signed an open letter to the WHO. Criticism has come from the United Nations as well. The UN's biodiversity chief, Elizabeth Maruma Mrema, has called for a global ban on wildlife markets, including the one in Wuhan in China. She says it is necessary to prevent future pandemics.